everyone, we're here to discuss about the 21st century's literature genres. But first, we're going to have a mini game. And the mechanics of this game is you're going to choose what do you prefer or what do you like between the two choices. Are you ready? Let's go! Enjoy the game? And now that we're done with our game, let's proceed with our discussion. Here are the following objectives of our lesson. First is, what is 21st century literature genre? Second, what are the different genres of 21st century literature? The 21st century genre fiction series provides exciting and accessible introduction to new genres in 21st century fiction. The purpose of 21st century literary genres is that it helps us develop our critical thinking skills, and it gives us the opportunity to analyze and appreciate good language. And now, here are the different genres in 21st century literature.
Illustrated novel. The term illustrated novel refers to an extended narrative with multiple images, together with the text. Reduced meaning, textual portions are presented in traditional form, and 50% of narrative is presented without words. The reader must interpret the images to comprehend the story completely, and some illustrated novels may contain no text at all. Also, it is a span all genres. It is employed in a broad manner, encompassing non-fiction works and thematically linked short stories, as well as fictional stories across a number of genres. Examples include The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick and The Arrival by Sean Tan.
Digifiction. It is a triple media literature, and this fiction is written and read from a computer, and it can be web or app-based. To get the full story, students must engage in navigation reading and viewing all the three forms. For example, Patrick Corman's Skeletal Creek and Anthony Zucker's Level 26.
Graphic novel. It is narrative work in which the story is conveyed to the reader using a comic form. The term is employed in broadly manner, encompassing non-fiction works and thematically linked short stories, as well as fictional stories across a number of genres. Good examples of these are Archie Comics by John Goldwater and Illustrator by Bob Montana.
Manga. Manga is a Japanese word for comics. It is used in the English-speaking world as generic term for all the comic books and graphic novels originally published in Japan. American manga sometimes used to refer in comics from an American. These are the types of manga. Shonen, boys manga. This manga often features a lot of action, comedy, and some sort of coming of age. Naruto, Bleach, One Piece is a good example. Shoujo, girls manga. The focus here is less on action and more on drama, emotion, and almost always idealized romance. And some example of it is Aoharu Ride, My Little Monster, and Sailor Moon. Seinen, men's manga. This manga features action and violence, but with more serious and darker tone, as well as adult content like sexual situations, graphic violence, or foul language. And Dakara is an example of it. Josei, women's manga. It is often featured more mature narratives exploring romantic and personal relationships. Example of it is Gloveless. Kodomo, children's manga. This serves will often be cutesy, moralistic, and fun. Both Pokemon and Doraemon are probably the most well-known examples of Kodomoke series.
Doodle fiction. Literary presentation where the author incorporates doodle writing, drawings, and handwritten graphics in place of the traditional font. Drawing enhances the story, often adding humorous elements. Examples include The Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney and Timmy Failure by Stephen Pastis.
Text-stop novels. Stories told almost entirely in dialogue simulating social network exchanges. Blogs, emails, and formal narratives are the examples.
Chick lit or chick literature is genre fiction which addresses issues of modern womanhood, often humorously and lightheartedly. Chick lit typically features a female protagonist whose femininity is heavily thermalizing in the plot. Scarlett Bailey's The Night Before Christmas and Miranda Dickinson's It Started with a Kiss are examples of this.
Flash fiction is a style of fiction literature of extreme brevity. There is no widely accepted definition of the length and category. It could range from word to 1,000. Lydia Davis' Everyone Cried is an example of an effective flash fiction story.
6-word flash fiction. A 6-word story is an entire story told in 6 words. It is a short narrative that can have all of the emotional themes of longer stories, from funny to dramatic, sad to scary. Examples: Ernest Hemingway For Sale, Baby Socks, Never Worn.
Creative nonfiction, also known as literary nonfiction or narrative nonfiction. It is genre of writing that uses literary styles and techniques to create factually accurate narratives. Contrast with other nonfiction such as technical writing or journalism, which is also rooted in accurate fact, but it's not primarily written in service to its craft. As a genre, creative nonfiction is still relatively young and is only beginning to be scrutinized with the same critical analysis given to fiction and poetry. 1000 Gibbs v. Anne Boskamp and Wind, Sand, and Stars by Antoinette. The Saint Exupéry are examples.
Science fiction is a genre of speculative fiction dealing with imaginative concepts such as futuristic science and technology, space travel, time travel, faster than light travel, and parallel universe. Often explores the potential consequences of scientific and other innovations and has been called a literature of ideas. Examples include Suzanne Collins' Mockingjay and Sarah Maas' Kingdom of Ash.
Blog, a weblog, a website containing short articles called posts that are changed regularly. Some blogs are written by one person containing his or her own opinions, interests, and experiences, while others are written by different people.
Hyperpoetry, digital poetry that uses links and hypertext mark. It can either involve certain words, phrases, lines, etc. that are presented in variable order but sit on the page much as traditional poetry does, or it can contain parts of the poem that can move and transform. It usually found online through CD-ROM and diskette versions exist. The earliest examples date to no later than mid-1980s.
In generalization, we have different genres in 21st century literature. We have illustrated novel, digifictional, graphic novel, manga, doodle fiction, chick lit or chick literature, flash fiction, 6-word flash fiction, creative nonfiction, science fiction, blog, and hyperpoetry. In realization, having different genres can make life easier for writers. With the genres, they can organize the story they're writing. Genres help organize information so that we can more easily sense of what we're about to read. It helps the reader understand the story better. And now that the discussion is done, let's see if you have learned something in our lesson. We will having a small quiz. And that's all for today. We hope that you have learned something from our presentation. Thank you for listening.